Good morning, everybody. Time for a morning look at our forecast, a Thursday morning look at our forecast for the snow over the weekend. Changes on the way, back-to-back winter storm systems a week apart. This one's different. This one's snow and not ice, setting the stage as we go into tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a day that's going to be bringing increasing clouds our way as the storm system starts to roll in. I think most of the day is going to be dry for most of us. As we hit the afternoon hours, especially late afternoon, we may start to see a few snow showers developing in the mountains, especially near the Tennessee border. Could be mild enough initially for a little bit of rain to mix in. This precipitation will then spread across the area Friday night, a combination of just the normal falling nighttime temperatures, plus this low sliding to the east and grabbing very cold air around high pressure centered around the mid-Atlantic and shoving it in our direction. We're going to see temperatures drop quickly going into Friday night, and that's going to make a rapid turnover to snow, and we are going to see all snow. Overnight on Friday night and early Saturday morning, we could see some moderate snow in the mountains. For the upstate, most of what we see Friday night is going to be light, but as we head toward daybreak on Saturday, I would anticipate the activity to be picking up a little bit in intensity, and that is going to stick with us through the day for most of us. We will see that get chewed up a little bit in the west late in the day, and as low pressure lifts to the northeast and takes the moisture away, a few lingering flurries into the evening, and then we're just looking at cold conditions going into Sunday. Yeah, we'll get the sunshine back. We may be on a tough road back to freezing, which means as we head into the start of the week, we're not going to have a whole lot of melt necessarily, so we may still be dealing with some icy conditions going into Monday. As we go into early next week, it's going to stay much colder than normal, but I think we will see a slow, painful warm-up as we go forward through time. Take a look at our Vipercast models zoomed in here a little bit. Friday, 4 p.m., I wouldn't be shocked if we start to see this begin with a couple stray raindrops here and there, but it'll rapidly turn to snow in the mountains. And for the upstate, we could see a few raindrops early in this before the colder air really begins to take over, and then we'll see a rapid change to snow from north to south across the area. You see a couple pinks in there. That means it's that mix between rain and snow. This does not mean freezing rain or sleet in this particular situation. That's just that transition zone. As that colder air continues to push to the south, it's going to be all snow then going into the early morning hours Saturday, through the day on Saturday, and into Saturday evening before we do start to see that moisture get chewed up just a little bit more. Notice the temperatures by the time we get to Saturday evening. We could already, by 10 o'clock in the evening, be looking at some single-digit readings across the mountains, teens in the upstate. Factor in gusts that are going to be into the 20s in the upstate and even higher in the mountains. It is going to be brutal out there. Right now, our snowfall forecast looks like this. General 3 to 5 inches of snow kind of around the I-26 corridor. We're looking at 2 to 3 inches of snow farther to the west, maybe far to the southwest, an inch or two. And then the mountains, a general 3 to 5, although we're going to see areas of 5 to 7 plus, particularly near the North Carolina-Tennessee border. And we may see some of that 5-inch line kind of work down I-26 into some of the southern mountains and the foothills as well. Higher snow totals are expected toward the Charlotte area. Now, keep in mind, this is still a system in some flux. If this system stays a little bit farther to the east than forecast, all these bands move farther to the east, which means we're looking at maybe 2 to 3 inches of snow across a larger portion and lesser amounts to the west. If it goes back a little farther west, we may add a couple inches. Right now, it looks like kind of the worst case scenario in terms of wanting no snow. The basement on this is about an inch or two, so even if this underperforms, we're still going to see accumulating snow across the majority of the area during this time frame. Now, if the system overperforms or this moves a little bit farther to the west, we could be looking at where we have the 2 to 3. You could be able to update that to about 3 to 5. In the areas that are 3 to 5 would be closer to 5 to 7 plus. So that is some pretty decent snow. Even this would be pretty decent snow, especially in the wake of the system we had last weekend. Also want to point out, the air is so very cold with this system. The snow is going to be a little different than the snows we usually have around here, because usually when we get snow, that temperature is somewhere in the upper 20s to lower 30s, and it's kind of a heavy, wet snow, really slushy, great snowball snow. Not this one, because the air is drier. there's less water content that'll be in the crystals, in the ice crystals that form the snowflakes. As a result, this is going to be more kind of a mountain snow. It's going to be more powdery, not good for snowball making, but probably pretty good for skiing and or sledding. It also means that because there's less moisture content, it may be melting a little bit more quickly than if it was kind of the slushy snow. So we'll have to see if that actually plays out early in the week. Bottom line is just stay prepared. The main threat here is going to be road issues. Again, because it's not the heavy wet snow we're expecting, it's a dry blow around a little bit. We could see some blowing snow, particularly in the mountains where the winds are going to be higher. But because we don't have that just kind of heavy wet snow, it's not going to weigh down as much on trees and power lines as we might if we saw similar accumulations with a wetter snow, which means any power outage chances are going to be rather minimized with this particular system. And based on the very cold air that's going to be in place, that is good news. A winter storm watch is in effect for all of us for the potential for hazardous travel to snow-covered roads. I would be shocked if this isn't upgraded to a winter storm warning for many of us. It may only be a winter weather advisory for some of our far southwestern areas, depending on where those snow lines end up. If we end up with an inch or two, it's a winter weather advisory. If it's 3 inches or more, it's going to end up being a winter storm warning. And I think most of us are going to end up under a winter storm warning. Do expect temperatures to not get out of the 20s Saturday. We may barely get above freezing on Sunday. Then it's a very slow and painful warm-up going into early next week. We're watching another storm system that's coming in Wednesday night and Thursday. Questionable right now as to whether or not it's going to be warm enough for a little bit of rain or cold enough for snow. It just depends kind of on the timing of that. If that hits more during the warmer afternoon hours of Thursday, we're more likely to get a little bit more rain out of that than anything else. But that's just something else we're going to have to watch. We'll get to that after we get past this current system. Bitter cold in the mountains over the weekend, very windy conditions. Stay inside if you can, and if you have to be outside, you certainly want to make sure you are fully protected because those wind chills are going to be brutal going into Sunday morning, likely well below zero in the mountains in many locations. I'll have the latest if we have any updates on this coming up today on 7 News at noon. We'll see you then.